What's up guys, new video here, and today we're installing a very key object in my S13. And if you have a drift car, if you have a drag car, track car, anything that has a lot of movement, a lot of slosh, you're definitely going to want to have one of these. So I did hit up Radium Engineering. They are definitely the people to hit up for this kind of stuff. Any kind of fueling, surge tanks, fuel cells, catch cans, any kind of stuff like that, they are definitely people to hit up. So now this is a very key thing. I did take a peek at this before, so we also have some awesome merch. Radium hat here, some stickers, nice shirt, more stickers, license plate frame. Huge thanks to Radium for hooking me up with this thing. I'm very stoked to be working with them and getting some awesome stuff for the car to make this thing much more reliable and much more safe. Alright, so what we have here is a surge tank from Radium Engineering, and surge tanks are very important in any race car that has a lot of fuel slosh. And in drifting, we have a ton of that. Alright, here it is. Here is the Radium Engineering surge tank. This is a smaller option they have, but I thought it was much more simpler for my application because I hate doing wiring stuff. And this one comes with one big fitting, plugs right in with 3 wires to wire into your car, and I think that's much easier than doing a bunch of wiring and crimping and all that kind of stuff. One big plug powers the whole thing. Much simpler, but it is a smaller tank. But I run -6 fuel lines, and this already comes with -6, so you don't have to get other fittings and convert it all and stuff like that. So I do have a stock tank in my S13. The fuel sending unit is out of the tank right now because we have to upgrade that and put a new pump in there because this pump is bad. So on the dyno in the last video you guys saw, we had that weird fuel cut. The failsafe kicked in because we lost fuel pressure, and we're pretty sure that this pump is for sure bad. So went through the wiring, and the wiring looks fine. If we have to go dig deeper in there and find the culprit, then we will if we have to, if it is indeed not bad. But I didn't see anything wrong. It all looks good, but these do tend to go bad over time. But this is plenty of fuel for the car itself right now if it was a street car. So when we're sloshing around like this a lot, drifting in each corner and stuff like that, you can get fuel slosh, and you lose a lot of fuel. You can send air pockets to the motor, the engine can run lean, and you can lean out the motor and have very bad things happen like I have had before. Not sure if it was, this was a cause of that, not having one of these, but this would definitely be huge security for your drift car, race car, track car, whatever you want to call it. But this is a very great option. It's a very simple option. There's other ones that are bigger with more plugs and more fittings for bigger pumps and a bigger capacity of fuel. But this one right here is simple and easy. It's all I need right now. So when you get the box with this surge tank from Radium, this is exactly what comes with it. It comes with the 1.5 liter canister, very nice anodized, black canister with that. It also comes with -6 AN fittings that are already pre-installed, which is always nice. And you can also run 1 or 2 pumps in here, and when you do this, make sure you order it for your needs, as in a D-Schwartz 400 or an AEM or a Walboro. They have every single one. And when you order it, make sure you order the correct surge tank for your fuel pump so you can get it all done, make your life much easier. And when you order it, choose which bracket you want to use. They have install brackets right here. They have ones for the side, the bottom, whatever meets your needs in your car. Whoops, made a little bit of a mess there. This is the bracket right here that I'm going to use. So it'll basically go like this on top and be mounted in the car permanently. And they have ones for the side to mount on a cage or a side of a car, but this is the best one for me. So it'll be just like that, nice and simple. But yeah, the main thing, like I said, this is so important for fuel slosh and stuff like that, because basically what happens is we'll have this here, and basically we'll have the pump in the tank that will act as a lift pump to the surge tank, which will send fuel to the motor from here. And the fuel that comes from the regular tank, from the lift pump into the surge tank, this will always have fuel constantly, no matter how much you sling back and forth or slosh around or drive hard. It will always have fuel, so the engine always has fuel, and there's no lean issues or fuel cut issues or air pockets going to the motor and hurting your engine and causing you some bad times. But let's get to it. Kind of talking a lot. I'll go as much detail as I can, but I have to get this done this weekend so we can go back to the dyno on Monday with both new pumps in the car and the surge tank. So like I said in the last video, this fuel pump is definitely an issue. We're losing fuel pressure at higher RPM, and it's usually pump related. Like I said, the wiring looks fine. All lines are -6. There's no tears, there's no nothing, there's no leaks. So the culprit is probably the fuel pump itself. Tomorrow I'll get 2 new ones from Drift HQ, and we will install everything in the car at once. But today we're basically going to get this mounted in the car, run some plumbing, run the lines. My bulkhead fittings come in very soon. That will go in probably around here, and then straight to the tank, and then to the motor as well. So once we get that, we can continue with that. But for now, let's get this radium surge tank mounted in the car. Alright, I'm not sure exactly where I'm going to put it yet, but I'm thinking somewhere like that. So it's nice and visible. We can build an enclosure around it, because for clutch triggers and FD, if I ever want to do that, I have to have anything fuel related covered with something inside the compartment, unless I do a full entire firewall, which is a whole bunch of work. So we're probably going to have to build an enclosure around this whole entire thing and the bulkhead fittings as well after this is done this weekend, and then go from there. But I gotta find a few mounting points. I don't want it to be too close, too far. I like it about, I think right there would be good. That looks good. I want to have room so we can put the enclosure behind it, so maybe even further back like that. Not exactly sure yet. I'm not set on it. I gotta do a few different options and see what we can do, but that might work. We'll see. Alright, so I messed around with placement of the surge tank, and I wanted to do it kind of back here and stuff, but like making an enclosure with it being here and running bulkheads somewhere else. The tank goes to about here on the S chassis. The stock tank goes about there. I would love to have a fuel cell, but I'm stock tank for now because I'm still stock body. I think right here would be the best bet possible, and then go straight over down into bulkheads right behind it. That way we can build an enclosure from about there to about here, nice and simple, straight, pretty much flat, and we would be good to go if we did it like that. So I think right here I'm going to call it and make a permanent drill holes for all the mounting points for the surge tank, and then drill holes for the bulkhead fittings as well. I might wait on that. I'll probably get this mounted tonight, and then get some lines kind of ran, and then start figuring out when I'm going to route them, how short I'm going to make them, and then after that, on Friday, tomorrow, or Saturday, I get the bulkheads, drill it out, put the bulkheads in, run all the lines, do all the plumbing, and continue on to wiring. Tonight, though, I might just mount the relay over here somewhere to get that ready to go, and then we should be good to go. But not the most entertaining thing in the world, but this is so important with any drift car, race car, like I said. I don't know why I have not had one in the years past, but I guess I wasn't thinking, and I learned the hard way. But I think this will be a big help and a big security for the motor. Alright, so all 4 holes are drilled. We have some riv nuts here, and we're going to put those in, get those in, ready to go, have a permanent place in. Don't go doing some bolt and nut thing under the car and tightening it. These are really cheap and easy to install, and the best snug fit possible for your application. So definitely recommend some riv nuts. Once this is in, we will figure out the rest of the whole entire plan with the and routing wise and where it's going to go and all that kind of good stuff. Alright, so the Radium Engineering surge tank is officially mounted in the car with the riv nuts and all that kind of good stuff. So I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to route the lines and stuff like that. I bought an A-line kit because it was cheap on Amazon, and these will work. I might change them out. We'll see what happens. But just so you guys can see, that's probably what I'm going to do for all the lines going into the bulkheads. I don't have bulkheads yet. That's just an idea I'm having. So one straight line of AN lines going down the bulkheads, and under have more AN lines going to the engine and back to the tank. But that's what I'm thinking for the AN line routing down to the bulkheads right there. And then there's not actual bulkheads, those are just AN lines I mocked up so you guys can have an idea of what's going to happen. And then after that, the bulkheads go in, under there, more fittings going to the engine and going back to the tank itself. And then after that is all plumbed and ready to go, we will get to the wiring stuff. I did mount 40 amp relay right here. We'll probably run this to the current ground we have here, and then we have the rest of the power wires and the trigger wires to the ECU, and tap all that into this so both pumps can run. And the relay for this fuel pump in here will be right here, and the current relay for it is still in the front of the car. Depending on how it goes, once all the parts get here, we can see what's going to happen, because we don't have all the parts here. The bulkheads are not here yet, fuel pumps aren't here yet, and that should be it. And then we can start wiring up everything else, and the new DW400 fuel pump also in the fuel tank itself. So it's going good so far. pretty easy if you ask me. Once we get the lines and wiring done, should be good to go. And fire this thing up. That's all we have for now. Tomorrow we'll get back to it. Alright, so next day we do have two D-Works 400 pumps here, some Dash 6AN bulkhead fittings, and that is the last thing I needed to complete this whole entire surge tank install. So, next step will be drilling out the holes for the Dash 6 fittings to go under the car, into the engine, into the current stock tank, and then do some plumbing, get all that taken care of, and then move on to the wiring. First things first, let's get to install the Dash 6 fittings. Okay, so let's back up a minute here. No fittings yet. Let's do the fuel pumps first. So the new D-Works 400 pump is in the stock hanger, the stock tank. This is the bad pump, old pump, goodbye. So the new one's all set to go in the tank. Once that is in, we'll take apart the surge tank, put the new pump in there. So our lift pump will be this pump right here, and that will go to the surge tank to have very, very good fuel to the engine. So one more fuel pump to go, we should be good to go. Alright, so the surge tank fuel assembly is already done and ready to go. Just did the power and ground wire. Don't need those two wires because we don't have those. We don't have a second pump. So just power and ground. Should be good to go back in the surge tank, and then continue on assembly tomorrow, and then get back to it, get some holes drilled, do some plumbing, and then finish this whole entire thing off. Okay, it is now time to get the holes drilled out for the Dash 6AN bulkhead fittings. We're going to do 1, 2, 3, and 4 to route the lines through the chassis, under the car, to the engine, to the tank. So the main purpose of a bulkhead fitting is to basically keep it insulated. So basically you drill a hole, the fitting goes through, has threads and a nut, and it spins, sandwiches together between the metal so fluid can go through from the top into the bottom without having anything exposed to underneath of the car, any open holes and stuff like that. So it's the best thing to do for this kind of stuff. I'll show you guys in a minute, but first, let's get to drilling these holes out. Alright, so I am short on time right now. I'm trying to get this done before the weekend is over, and it's kind of a long process. So all the AN lines for the tank itself right here are all done, primed, and ready to go. I did not want to run a 45 here. I wanted to run a 90 to be more, to look more smooth and look nicer, but I had to use that 90 for under the car because the way it's going to go, I had to have 90 under there. So I ordered more 90s to replace this one later, and more 90s for under the car, because my idea of all of this was supposed to be one straight line of fittings, but I can't go over there because the frame's right here, and I found that out because I drilled into the car, and the frame's right there. So I had to go here instead of over there, but it worked out in the end. And then once this is all plumbed up under the car as well, we'll get to wiring. Yeah, it's not that hard a process, it's just very tedious in making the lines and routing things and getting everything, you know, in the right place. But the Radium surge tank looks so good. Love the color of it. Looks super sleek and super dope. Alright, now I have to go to the bottom of the car and start plumbing those. Alright, so everything is now ran and plumbed. Everything is ready to go, AN line wise. So this is Dash 6 AN line, and you see you have 4 fittings here. And the main fitting right here, the green one right here, is the one that comes out of here straight to the pump, well, straight to the fuel rail from the tank. So you want to feed this one to your feed line that was previously to your fuel pump in the tank, which now is here, feeding the fuel rail straight on from here. And then all the other lines, doesn't even matter which line goes to where, because it all goes to the same place. So the one thing you gotta worry about is this fitting right here going to your fuel rail. So it's pretty simple. Now the annoying part comes up where we have to wire all this stuff in. Now, I am not great at wiring, but I'm gonna try my best and do the best I can. But for the most part, it's pretty simple. Hopefully we can get it done tonight or tomorrow, and get this whole entire project done, set, ready to go, and over to the dyno. Alright guys, so we finished the entire install of the surge pump. I wish it could have been more detailed about the wiring and stuff like that, but I had to get it done tonight because tomorrow going to tune, tomorrow or Tuesday, anyone to stress out and like do it last minute and rush it and make it all nasty and all that kind of good stuff. But I did just start the car. All the wiring is good. I'm not great at wiring, and I did it myself this time with the help of Alberto and Paul with some instructions on how to do it, and I did it first try. So the Radium surge tank is all done, installed. All the Dash 6 lines, the bulkheads run into the engine and back to the tank. All the wiring is in here as well. It's not loomed yet. I'm not leaving it like that. I wanted to start it, make sure it worked first. Literally first try, all the wiring worked fine. No leaks in the fuel lines, anything like that. Worked first try. Very stoked on that. So after I get the car tuned tomorrow, I'll come back and re-loom all this, make it nice, and get it in its final resting place. That is it for the install of this, but now it's time to go to the dyno tomorrow and get this thing tuned. But yeah, that was not too hard, just very time consuming, getting it all done right the first time, but like I said, I'm not a wire guru at all. I'm not great at it, but I did it. So I'm stoked on that. This video will be, installing this in a dyno. The next video will be going to clutch shakers round 2. So yeah, very excited, and now to the dyno. Back at the dyno, almost ready to go, and then strapped down. Get Steve to log on to remote tune once again with the new pump in the tank and the new Radium surge tank back there, all ready to go. We should be good to go this time. Hopefully no issues. I'm pretty confident in it. Get it tuned, done, ready to go home, and prep for clutch shakers. So let's get to it. Alright, so here is the new map right here with the new fuel and the built motor. And this is the other map from Pump E85 and the other motor. And we gained a lot of power. We literally have 617 foot-pounds of torque and 550 horsepower. And that is wild. We gained literally about 100 and something horsepower and torque just with fuel. That says a ton. Race fuel is sick. This thing sounds sick. I am so stoked on that. The 1 ethanol fuel did a big difference. So let's get this thing home, do an oil change, and prep for round 2. Alright, so we're back home and doing some CAD design, as in some cardboard box design. Here we have some cardboard, and I made the template for Paul so he can make me an aluminum enclosure for the surge tank, even though I want everybody to see that awesome Radium Engineering surge tank. Unfortunately, I have to have an enclosure because I don't have a firewall to pass tech. Either way, even if it wasn't going to pass tech at a normal track, I would definitely want to have that enclosed, because if that breaks or a line comes off and some fuel gets on me or it leads to a fire, that would not be good for anyone. So that is the template I made a little box. Paul is going to fab up a nice aluminum enclosure for us, get it done, installed. Gonna have brackets on each end here, do some other stripping to have it kind of seat on there nicely, and got it all enclosed in there so no fuel or something can leak out of it. So it'll be nice and enclosed, nice and safe, and ready to pass tech for clutch shakers. But that'll be tomorrow or the next day. We'll have that enclosure, and I'll show you guys the finished product once we get to that point, and that'll be it for this video. Now, today was an awesome day. The dyno went amazing, made way more power than I was ever expecting. But I will say on the graph, the turbo does fall off pretty hard up top because it's a smaller turbo, 1J head, but there's a lot more torque, a lot more power. We'll be fine. This layout this round is not a bank layout, so it'll be way more than enough power than we're ever gonna have. And I'm very excited to have more power, consistency, and just reliability with this new setup we have going here. I'm very excited, very confident, excited for once I'm actually really excited to go drive and not like be anxious or be scared and just like not do great or just be down because I'm so worried about the car. But I'm very confident in the car and everything. Alright, camera's gonna die. It's the next day. Got the Radium Engineering surge tank all done and installed on the car. Car is tuned. We're ready for clutch shakers. The surge tank enclosure is in the car. Paul did an awesome job getting that thing done. Got some Radium stickers on there, all done, ready to go. Nice and black. Looking good, matching the car. Trying to represent Radium the best way possible, even though I have to cover their awesome surge tank because of tech rules. But very stoked on that. All done. We are officially done the whole install, and the car is ready for clutch shakers. Just chilling tonight, getting everything ready for tomorrow to load into the enclosed trailer. And then once we get to that point, we're on the road. Alright guys, camera's gonna die, but once again, thank you guys for watching. We'll see you at Clutch Shakers round 2. I'm very excited, very confident, and ready to shred, and I'll see you guys there.